Welcome back, guys. I hope you're having a great day today, and I hope you're ready for what we're going to read today. It's going to be an adventure of an episode, and I hope you're ready for this. Before we start the episode, if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to, that would be amazing. And let's get into story number 1. Am I the a-hole for calling an ambulance, which got my co-worker fired? This got removed on Am I the a-hole, so I'm posting it here. I, 27 female, was at a work training for my job this past weekend. Our company put a bunch of us up in a hotel and had us attend a day-long presentation about our goals for the upcoming quarter. And for context, we're in sales, it's highly competitive, and the group consisted of mainly older employees, with me being the youngest. After a full day of meetings, a few of us decided to get dinner at a restaurant down the street from our hotel. We carpooled, and when we arrived, one of the older ladies, Deborah, in her 50s maybe, was already there standing at the bar. We invited her to join us for food, but she declined, and we moved on with our night. I had 2 beers with dinner, so I'm not judging, but as we finished our meal, it became pretty clear that Deborah was plastered. She was stumbling even though the ground was level and slurring pretty bad. As we left, Deborah came outside with us and was reaching for her keys. I immediately stopped her and I said I'd drive her back to our hotel. She agreed, but as she went to grab the passenger door handle, she missed and she fell straight back onto the pavement, hitting the back of her head. I don't mean to be gross, but it sounded like somebody dropped a carton of eggs. I checked, and not only was she passed out, but she was bleeding from her head. Everybody panicked and I grabbed my phone to call 911. One of the younger guys stopped me and said, "Help me get her in the car. We'll get her room key out of her purse and we'll just put her in bed." I was bewildered and I said, "But she has a head injury. She's bleeding. What if she cracked her skull?" I'm no doctor, but if you go to sleep with a head injury, don't you not wake up? I'm pretty sure I learnt that in school, and some of the other employees agreed with me, so I called the ambulance. Paramedics took Deborah to the hospital and she survived, though she was in really bad shape when I checked up on her the next day. Here's where I may be the a-hole. Our managers did find out that Deborah was hospitalized for over-drinking, while technically at a work function, and they fired her on the spot. Everybody else found out that I was the one who insisted on calling an ambulance. The older employees are all saying that I did the right thing and that she could have died, but the younger ones are calling me a snake and saying that I got her fired on purpose because she was competition. Am I the a-hole? No, not even a little bit. You were doing the right thing. What are the co-workers talking about? You're a snake and you got her fired on purpose? You absolutely did the right thing, OP. The top comment says, "Not the a-hole, better jobless than dead. You did exactly right." And the comment below that one says, "I'm sure the co-workers giving OP crap would have also given her crap if she didn't call the ambulance and the co-worker died. You did the right thing for sure." Like this comment says, "Not the a-hole. You did what any responsible person would do." Yeah, and imagine if you didn't call an ambulance and they did die. Can you imagine how awful that'd be? And the other co-worker saying, "Help me get her in the car. We'll put her in bed." No, you did the right thing for sure, OP. And I can't believe you have co-workers calling you a snake like this was all some elaborate plan to get her fired. That's so insulting. Yeah, and also like this comment says, "You stopped her from driving while intoxicated, and you called an ambulance when she may have had a serious head injury, not to mention alcohol poisoning. You did everything right. Your co-workers are the a-holes." Yeah, I forgot about the bit where OP stopped them from driving while intoxicated. Like, yeah, they wanted to drive away. So not only did you help them when they hurt themselves, but you also stopped them from driving drunk. Your co-worker was so lucky that you were there, OP. What a wild start to the episode. Okay, moving on to post number 2. I hope you guys are enjoying the episode so far. There's a lot more to go. Am I the a-hole for leaving my sister's wedding early and causing a scene? Okay, so my sister, 32 female, got married last weekend, and it was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. But now I'm 28 female being called selfish and immature by half of my family. I don't know if I'm in the wrong here or not. For context, my sister and I have never been close. She's always been the golden child, and I'm like the leftover kid or whatever. Our parents made it pretty obvious growing up, but still, I tried to be supportive and help with the wedding when she asked me to be a bridesmaid. Fast forward to the day of the wedding and everything starts off fine. I'm in my dress, hair done, smiling for pictures, and you know, all the bridesmaid duties. But then during the reception, my sister gives this long speech thanking everybody who helped her special day happen. She thanked our parents, her in-laws, her husband, the other bridesmaids, but not me. She literally skipped my name while thanking the bridal party, even though I spent hours helping her with stuff like centerpieces and last-minute errands. Everybody noticed, including my boyfriend, who leaned over and whispered, "Did she just skip you?" I brushed it off and I thought maybe it was a mistake. But then her maid of honor, her bestie since college, goes up for a speech and jokes about how she's basically the sister my sister never had. Like, what? Everybody laughs and claps and I'm sitting there like, cool, I guess I don't exist. At this point, I'm feeling super embarrassed and hurt. I try to stay calm, but when my boyfriend suggests that we leave, I agree. I didn't want to cry at the table and make it even weirder, so we quietly left. Apparently, people noticed that I was gone because the next day my sister texted me saying that I ruined her wedding by storming off. I told her I didn't storm off. I just felt unappreciated and I needed space. She doubled down by saying the day wasn't about me and I'm selfish because I made it a big deal. Now my mum and some aunts are siding with her, saying that I was disrespectful, but my boyfriend and a few friends are on my side, saying that I was treated unfairly. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for leaving my sister's wedding early? Yeah, the top comment, she set it up so you either had to sit there and be insulted and belittled, or she could abuse you for leaving. Either way, she wins. Cut her out completely. And anybody else who thinks the way that you were treated is okay. The second top comment says, not the a-hole, your sister's a bitch. The response to that one says, what a complete noxious cow. Your entire family deserves to be on the no contact list. It'd be a long time before I talk to any of them again. Not the a-hole. And the comment below that says, oh, and the maid of honor is a cow too. The comment below that says, okay, but can we stop insulting the cows by comparing the bride and maid of honor to them, please? Yeah, cows don't deserve this disrespect. This comment says, not the a-hole. It's time to go very low contact with your family. Your boyfriend is a keeper though. Tell him kudos from an internet stranger. Google grey rocking. I think that'll be helpful. The comment below that one says, how does a sister not thank her own sister who's in her bridal party? That was definitely done on purpose. Not the a-hole. Yeah, and also like the comment below that one says, you didn't cause a scene. Not the a-hole. You're not obligated to stay in an environment where you're embarrassed and hurt. You're not a punching bag. Yeah, that's another one of the frustrating parts about this. You didn't cause a scene. You quietly left and tried to leave without anybody even noticing because like you said, you were disrespected and unappreciated. But that's somehow you being selfish and storming off? No, all of this was so a-holey of your sister OP and it seems very deliberate. This comment says, not the a-hole. She did it on purpose, which is made obvious by her accusing you of storming out. She's a She can take her drama and off into the sun. Yeah, so unbelievably toxic. And we read about a lot of stuff like that too, where somebody is being a super a-hole, but the entire time they try to blame somebody else, which I feel like sort of aligns with this comment. Not the a-hole. Everybody saw how you were treated, and that's what your family's mad about. You left so they look bad. Screw them. Yeah, and also what the maid of honor said. Like, I'm your sister that you never had. Oh, you never had a sister, did ya? Yeah, I guess OP doesn't exist. Yeah, the consensus on here is definitely not the a-hole. And moving on to story number 3. It's probably going to be entertaining but also concerning. Am I the a-hole for telling my ex's sterile affair partner to have her own daughter if she wants to share cheerleading with one? My ex 44 male cheated on me 40 female and ended our marriage so he could be with his affair partner and wife Jen 42 female. This happened several years ago when our kids were very young. My ex gets our kids 6 days a month. He works out of state frequently, so this was the most consistent schedule where our kids would be with a parent, me or ex, instead of being left with a babysitter or his wife. According to my ex and Jen, she's sterile and can never have kids. I never asked, but they offered this up in hopes that I'd share the kids more with her and encourage them to embrace Jen as their second mum. I have not done this, and I've told them that we're not friends and that they're not to expect favors from me after going behind my back and doing what they did. Jen was somebody that I knew before learning the truth. She was dating somebody in my ex's friend circle and made a point to get to know me. I found out why after. She was expecting that us being friends would help me not hate her after. I bring all of this up because of what's currently going on. Jen was a big cheerleader in her youth and volunteers at local cheer groups. She wants my daughter 10 to get involved in cheer. My daughter told me about it the other week because Jen was trying to make her go, and my ex was backing Jen on it. She told me that she didn't want to and she needed my help. All of the kids are aware of the fact that stuff like this has to be agreed on by both me and their dad. I reached out and I told my ex our daughter will not be put into cheer against her will and that he needs to stop pressuring her to join. He didn't respond back the way that he's supposed to through the app, so I noted his reply on the app and I got a lot of cussing back. Jen tried to call me, but I didn't answer. She approached me a few days later because we were at the same store, and she told me that I can't keep punishing her by depriving her of my children. Oh, the audacity. She said that she's been in their lives since they were little, and she has every right to bond with them and share stuff with them like that. I told her she does not get to force my kids into stuff like that against their will. I walked away and she followed me around for a bit and told me about how it was her dream to share cheer with a daughter and all that crap, and I don't care. I told her she should have a daughter of her own if she wants to share it and to leave mine alone. She stopped following me after that, and I heard from ex a few times after saying that I was cruel to say that to her when I know that she can't have children. Am I the a-hole? Oh my god, but that doesn't mean she gets to have your children. What an awful situation. I can't believe she said to OP, you can't keep punishing her by depriving her of my children. The audacity. Yeah, this comment, when it comes to cruelty, nothing beats cheating on your spouse or befriending somebody to steal their spouse, those two soulless can pound sand. Not the a-hole. She gets nothing from you. Him either. I actually can't believe that. The comment below that one says exactly. The audacity of cheating, breaking up a family, and then demanding to share the kids like they're some kind of prize is disgusting. Jen made her bed and now she can lie in it without trying to play mum to somebody else's kids. Yeah, cheating, breaking up the family, and then demanding to share their kids. I don't even know these people and this makes me angry reading it. How do you have the gall to act like this? The comment below that one says not the a-hole. First she steals the spouse and now she's after the kids. Remember to record all the interactions with Jen in the parenting app. Do it as your wife approached and harassed me in the store over stuff that we've already discussed in the app regarding activities that children do not want to do, but she does and you're pressuring the kids to accept it. Document, document, document. And then push for Jen having reduced contact with the kids due to the abusive pressure that she's putting on them. Yeah, and the comment below that, not the a-hole. Not only was your ex a crap husband, he's also a crap father for allowing his affair partner wife to inflict her motherly desires onto your children. Yeah, I can't believe this. You owe Jen nothing. Absolutely nothing. But Jen's acting like you owe her your children. Like where it said, I never asked, but they offered this up in hopes that I would share the kids with her more and encourage them to embrace Jen as their second mum. This absolute homewrecker snake of a friend of OP's has the audacity to say that she should be the second mum to your children. Yeah, that's what it said, isn't it? That they used to be friends? Yeah, she was expecting us being friends would help me not hate her afterward. Yeah, I'm in disbelief. Oh yeah, I'm now your child's second mum. This comment says not the a-hole. I bet with you for my house that she would have let your ex get her pregnant before you even knew that they were cheating on you behind your back. I swear to you, this scum of the earth would have done anything to get him and to hurt you in the process. And now she's projecting her own failed dreams onto your child? Hell to the no, you being cruel? What a joke. And OP said, I think so. And I also wonder if she could have kids if mine would be discarded entirely. It mostly seems to be Jen's dreams of motherhood that keeps him maintaining any kind of custody schedule. This comment says not the a-hole. In response to comments about how she's been in their lives since they were little, you could have said that just makes you and my ex worse people for cheating with a man that had tiny children at home. That's not a free pass to motherhood of them. But also, if she does want to be involved in cheer so much, there are plenty of voluntary ways to do so. I'm sure she could help out at the school cheer team or local cheer training squads. Yeah, that's such a good point. You cheating with a man that had tiny children at home, that doesn't mean that you're their second mother. Yeah, I can't believe this one. I feel like we should move on. It's too frustrating. This comment says, some audacity on this Jen. Befriend you specifically so that she can steal your husband and expect you not to hate her. She and your ex deserve each other and she can rot in her childless existence. Your kids will never see her as anything more than dad's wife, and as they get older and learn more about the divorce, they probably won't even acknowledge her as that. Not the a-hole. You put her in her place. Yeah, but she feels entitled to be their second mum. Like, by the sounds of it, Jen doesn't even feel like she did anything wrong. It sounds like she expects to be friends with OP and that everybody involved here should be all lovely to each other. Like, are you forgetting what you did, Jen? And don't even get me started on the ex-husband. Yeah, let's move on to post number 4. That one that we just read was too much. Am I the a-hole for telling my deadbeat father's wife and daughter to leave me the f*** alone? My quote-unquote dad walked out on me and my mum when I 19 Mal was a baby. He did not pay child support, didn't ever see me, didn't show up at court at any point, and he never reached out to me. I always had questions about him, but my mum was always too nice about it until I turned 18, and she laid it all out for me. She even showed me the file she had for court that showed all the times that he didn't show up, how much money he owed, the fact that she chased after child support for years, but he always found a way to avoid paying. For 6 years, she tried to chase him through court until she gave up the fight and let the debt compile because it was costing her money, and that was taking away from her ability to support us. He was the truest definition of a deadbeat, and I've got nothing good to say, and no interest in establishing a relationship of any kind. In September, I got a friend request from a woman on Facebook. We had no friends in common, so I ignored it, and then I rejected it. She sent it again, and so I accepted it because I found it weird. A day later, a request came from a girl, and I rejected that, but just like the other account, she sent it again. I saw they were friends, so I left it ignored. Then a DM came from the account that I had accepted the request from. It turns out it was my deadbeat father's wife and oldest daughter. They wanted to find me because they felt that I should know my family and how I was now old enough to decide for myself. I told them I wasn't interested and to please leave me alone. I unfriended the wife and I blocked both accounts and I went private. But my Facebook is linked to my Instagram and the daughter tried to reach me there. She said that I didn't know the truth and I deserved it, and how she and her sibling always wanted to know their older brother, and how her whole family were hoping that we could come together as a family. I blocked her there and I ignored it. The daughter found another account of mine on another platform and has pestered me there ever since. It's constant recent new accounts and I have reported some. I tried replying once more saying that I'm sorry she got her hopes up, but I'm not interested. The next day, I had messages from both the mother and daughter saying that my mum was the reason I didn't know my deadbeat father, and how she was abusive and awful, and how he had to leave, and how he hated walking away, but she was dangerous and awful to be around, and I deserved to know the kind of thing I was raised by. And yeah, his daughter called my mum a thing. I responded that they were making a lot of accusations and defending him so much, but he left me with a supposedly abusive mother and then made no attempt to save me from it in 19 years, and that tells me all I need to know about the man. I said once again they need to leave me alone, and I wasn't going to have a relationship with any of them. I thought they were finally going to leave me alone, but before Christmas I got a long message from the two of them that basically gave me this sob story of a man who loved me but feared my life would be worse if he stayed, and how I might have been abused worse, and how he hoped that my mum would abuse me less if he wasn't around. I didn't even address the rest. I told them to leave me the alone before I go to the police for harassment, and I told them I would if they pushed it. The wife flipped out on me and said, how dare I speak to them in such an abusive way, and clearly I'm my mother's son. She told me that I should be ashamed speaking to a teenager that way, who did nothing but try to love me. She's so pissed that I had to turn my phone off because I kept on getting notified of all these messages, and I tried to stop them contacting me there, but the feature to stop them seems to be wonky on my account. I did go to the police, but I need to keep all of them going forward to make a case for anything. What I had wasn't enough. So yeah, am I the a-hole? Oh, what a terrible situation. The top comment says he left because she was abusive, but never paid child support, presumably get paid under the table to avoid getting garnished, and has never actually reached out himself. Yeah, he's full of crap. And OP said correct. Didn't even reach out when they found me online. The second top comment says not the a-hole. You stated your boundaries and they should respect them, because at the end of the day, you get the last say, not them. You should block them everywhere and put this behind you, because they have no right to disrespect you like that. And OP said they keep making new accounts on this platform since I can't stop non-followers from DMing me on there. The feature does nothing. This comment says not the a-hole. Retired attorney here. My guess is that they want you to sign off on forgiving your father's child support debt. It's not dischargeable in bankruptcy and can't legally be waived by the custodial parent on the child's behalf, because the right to support belongs to the child, not the parent. Some states allow adult children to sue non-custodial parents for child support arrears. I would contact the child support enforcement office in your jurisdiction to see if you can make a claim. Yeah, and also this comment. Most people would take the initial rejection and move on. If they keep trying so hard, I get the feeling he needs something, like an organ. Okay, moving on to post number 5. I hope you guys are having a good time today. Story number 5 is called Am I the a-hole for calling out a guy at Walmart who was screaming at his kid? So this happened today, and I honestly feel conflicted about whether I overstepped. I, 27 male, was at Walmart doing my usual grocery run. It was late, probably around 9:30 p.m, so the store wasn't super crowded. I was in the cereal aisle minding my business when I overheard a man, maybe in his 40s, absolutely losing his temper with his kid. The kid couldn't have been older than 7 or 8, and the dad was yelling at him so loud that I could hear every word from the end of the aisle. I'm talking about stuff like, "You're so useless. Why do you always make everything harder for me? And if you don't shut up, I'm leaving you here." It was honestly pretty hard to listen to, especially because the kid sounded terrified and started crying. I wasn't sure what to do at first. Should I mind my own business or should I step in? After a few more minutes of this, I couldn't just stand there anymore. So I walked up to the guy and I said, "Hey man, you need to calm down. That's your kid, not a punching bag." He turned around and started yelling at me, saying that it wasn't any of my business and that I was ruining his day. He told me to mind my own damn business and that I had no idea what kind of day he had. At this point, I'm standing there thinking, I'm not letting this slide. I told him, well, maybe you should try talking to your kid like a human, not a piece of trash. He was still yelling at me when an employee came over and asked if everything was okay. The guy walked off in a huff and the employee thanked me for speaking up. I was really shaken by the whole thing. It felt like the dad wasn't even bothered by the fact that he was verbally abusing his kid, but at the same time, I feel weird about confronting a stranger in front of his child. I talked to my girlfriend about it and she said I did the right thing, but I'm still wondering if I was wrong to get involved. It's not like I was in a position to parent the guy, but I felt like somebody needed to say something. Am I the a-hole for stepping in when it wasn't my business? No, OP, and he was making it your business. Screaming at your child in public? Like you said, OP, verbally abusing your child in public? Of course people are gonna say something, and so they should. That's so sad. This guy should not be a parent. The top comment says, not the a-hole, you didn't ruin his day. He ruined his own day by choosing to be an abusive, entitled jerk to a defenseless child in public. And the comment below that one says, I feel if somebody's doing this in public, they open that door and I'm gonna say something because they made it my business. Yeah, for sure. And the second top comment says, not the a-hole, you did the right thing and the hard thing. I bet you that kid will never forget it. Okay, moving on to post number 6. I haven't even read this next one and I already already don't want to read it. My ex-girlfriend, 27 female, and I, 29 male, had been together for just over a year. I broke up with her last week after yet another situation where her inability to stand up for herself crossed a serious line. The first red flag happened 5 months ago. She came to my apartment after a night out with her friends and confessed, tearfully, that she'd made out with another guy. Her excuse, her friends were pressuring her to loosen up and live a little, and she didn't want to look uptight in front of them. Wow, are you joking? She betrayed you so that she can look good in front of her friends? I was so furious, but I decided to forgive her because she was honest, and she apologized immediately. However, I told her that this wasn't okay. Wait, also, before we go any further, if you have friends that say stuff like that to you, telling you to loosen up and live a little, aka making out with somebody who's not your partner, they are terrible friends. But even more terrible that it was more important to her to not look uptight in front of her friends than it was to be loyal to her partner. That is so gross. However, I told her this wasn't okay, and we agreed that she wouldn't go out drinking with those friends again, since they clearly didn't respect her boundaries or mine. Then fast forward to last week, she told me she was taking a mental health day and would be hanging out with her friends. What she didn't mention was that she was heading to a cabin in a small town with those same friends. Oh my god. I found out when she texted me after the fact, casually saying that she'd be back later that evening. This was frustrating enough. I don't think it's unreasonable to want a heads up about a trip, especially with friends I've already expressed concerns about. When she came over the next day, I pressed her about what happened. She initially said that it was just a relaxing day with the girls, but something about her tone felt off. I kept on asking, and after 3 days of her denying that anything unusual happened, she finally broke down and admitted the truth. One of her friends had been pressuring her for weeks to join a threesome with her and her husband. My ex claimed that she'd been saying no repeatedly, but eventually gave in to the pressure and went to the cabin with them. She swore that nothing happened and that they didn't go all the way, but at that point it didn't matter to me. I told her the relationship was over. I explained that while I understood feeling pressured, going to the cabin was her choice. Staying friends with people who constantly push her to violate her own boundaries and mine was her choice. I also told her that she needs to seriously think about why she surrounds herself with people who bring out the worst in her. She cried and accused me of blaming her for something that she didn't have control over. Oh my god, how dare you? You're blaming them. What an absolute joke. She's blaming her friends. Oh, I didn't have control over it. BS. I told her that she absolutely had control unless they dragged her to the cabin at gunpoint. Her decisions were her own. Now her brother's texting me saying that I'm being too harsh and that I should be helping her work through her issues instead of walking away. Are you joking? Oh my god. This is laughable. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's my responsibility to stay in a relationship where my trust and boundaries are repeatedly disregarded. So am I the a-hole for ending things? Of course not. The top comment says, not the a-hole. You didn't break up over peer pressure. You broke up because she's a cheater. She's cheating on you and manipulating you into thinking it wasn't her fault, that it's other people who peer pressured her. Don't fall for it. Move on. Yeah, cheaters will never take responsibility for their actions. Like, oh no, you're not blaming little old me, are you? I had no control over my own actions. I slipped and fell. What are you talking about? Absolutely trash partner. OP said, you're absolutely right. The peer pressure excuse felt like a way to shift the blame and avoid taking responsibility for her actions. At the end of the day, she made her choices, and I couldn't stay in a relationship where trust was broken like that. I'm definitely moving on. Yeah, if you're in a relationship and you don't care enough about your partner to say no to this sort of crap, then that's awful. Like, oh, I can't believe you're blaming me for something that I didn't have control over. I was peer pressured. If you can't say no to your trashy friends when they're talking about having a threesome or making out with another guy, you're a terrible partner. Yeah, like this comment says too, not the a-hole. Her brother saying that you should help her through her issues is wild. She's not your responsibility. It's not your job to fix her poor decision making. Good for you for setting boundaries and sticking to them. And OP said, thank you. I don't get why her family thinks I should just put up with this behavior. Relationships are partnerships, not one-sided rescue missions. It's tough, but I know I made the right choice. Yeah, and if you did put up with it, OP, how long is this sort of stuff gonna go on for? Forever? For your entire relationship? Like, oh great, my partner's cheating on me again? And then to have the audacity to be like, I can't believe you're blaming me for something I didn't have control over. You are in control of your actions. Walk away from your trashy friends. Actually, that's a really good point. If you have friends that are encouraging you to cheat on your partner, you should not be friends with them. You should have enough respect for your partner to be like, whoa, okay, you're not a friend or somebody that I should have in my life. You're trying to get me to cheat on my partner. This comment says, text her brother. Why the hell would I help her? It's not hard not to cheat. She can't keep blaming everybody around her for her actions. She knew what she was doing by kissing another man, and she also knew what she was doing by going to the cabin, knowing that she was gonna cheat again. I don't know her or you a damn thing. She's a grown woman and an absolute moron by the sounds of it. Block her and her brother. OP said, I appreciate the advice, but I'm done trying to engage with her or her family. It's clear that she doesn't take responsibility for her actions, and I'm not going to be somebody who continues to clean up her mess. I blocked both of them already, and it's time to move on. Yeah, let's move on to post number 7. I knew that one was going to be aggravating. Post number 7 is on Today I Messed Up. Today I messed up by correcting my manager on a phrase she was using. This did not happen today, but I remember the story just now, and I thought people would get a laugh out of it. Years ago, I worked on a team that not only just hired a bunch of new people, but also a new manager. The manager came from a different department, and while she had experience managing, she had no clue what we did. Essentially, my team was responsible for all the accounts at our financial solutions company that were in managed products. Because of a previous role, I was very familiar with all of the processes, and she relied on me heavily to get her up to speed. I didn't mind it at all. It was fun to teach her and the other folks how to work the software and what questions to ask, and because I was thinking of going into management myself, I thought it might be a great thing to point to later. I was her second hand for months. I even created a OneNote everybody affectionately referred to as the Holy Grail. Since it provided every shortcut and made people's lives easier, I thought we'd build a good rapport. Every few months, the manager does a one-on-one with every team member to assess their performance. We go over a few client calls and dissect them, discuss areas of strength and ones where there's room for improvement. You know, standard stuff. I went first this particular time, and during the meeting she kept repeating the phrase rope memorization. It hurt to hear every time, but I waited patiently until the end. I told her I appreciated all the feedback and then said, by the way, it's no big deal, but since you have over a dozen of these meetings to do, if you're going to use that phrase again, it's rope memorization, not rope. I figured that you'd want to know. I was very wrong about her wanting to know that. Her entire demeanor towards me shifted. I lost my number 2 status immediately. She's no longer asked me for help, even when the people she would ask would say, why aren't you asking him? He'd know the best. She torpedoed my next 2 promotions. I'd love to tell you guys that I was being paranoid, but I heard years later that the hiring manager for the promotion asked why she didn't recommend me since I seemed like the best candidate, and she just gave some vague answer about me not being a good fit. I eventually gave up and I quit the firm, but I heard from friends she eventually got demoted because she kept on clashing with her employees over trivial matters. They still use my Holy Grail though, which makes me happy because the training for that position is next to worthless, and I'm happy people don't get stuck having to figure out every little thing like I did. The top comment says, I would disagree. You didn't mess up. You were screwed over. You had every right to do what you did, and you probably did it in good spirits. She was uptight and shouldn't have gotten the position in the first place. And OP said, I wholeheartedly agree, but I forgot the number 1 rule of a corporate job. Don't correct your boss unless it will affect the work. The world isn't fair, and sometimes you have to just tolerate a crappy manager with a smile to get ahead. I put my guard down and I paid for it. I wish it didn't work that way, but it does. Yeah, in the comment below that, I'm a boss and I want to be corrected. Those other bosses are lame. Okay, moving on to post number 8, back on the Am I the A-hole subreddit. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend because he's a mama's boy? I, 28 female, recently broke up with my boyfriend, 30 male, because of his relationship with his mum. At first, I thought it was sweet how close they were, but over time, it started to really bother me. For context, his mum is very involved in his life. She still does things for him that, in my opinion, a grown man should be handling himself. For example, when she visits, she'll cut his steak for him and put the fork in his mouth, wash his underwear, run a bath for him and help him wash his hair, and tuck him into bed for naps. When she's around, he completely reverts to a child. He stops flushing the toilet, doesn't clean up after himself, and acts like an 8-year-old. It's like all the maturity and independence I fell for just disappears. I tried to talk to him about how uncomfortable it made me. I explained that while I respect his love for his mum, I think there should be some boundaries. He brushed it off saying that I was overreacting and that this was just how they've always been. The final straw was when she stayed over for a weekend and he expected me to cater to her the way that she caters to him. I'm talking cleaning up after both of them, cooking all the meals, and even joining in on their bizarre nap routine. I felt like I was the third wheel in my own relationship. After that, I told him I couldn't do it anymore and I ended things. He was shocked and said that I was jealous of his mum. Oh, no, you're not. And I just didn't understand their bond. His mum, of course, called me ungrateful and immature. Now I'm wondering if I overreacted. I didn't want to make him choose between me and his mum, but I also couldn't see myself in a relationship where I felt like the side character to their dynamic. Am I the a-hole? No. Yeah, the top comment. What a bad day to have eyeballs, girl. Not the a-hole. Yeah, and by the sounds of it, he wants you, OP, to treat him the way that his mum does. Oh, that's so bad. This comment says, the first time he didn't flush the toilet, I would have been out. That goes way beyond being a mama's boy to just being disgusting. Absolutely not. And OP said, it grows grossed me out so bad. Yeah, I bet it did, OP. All of this grossed me out just reading it. And yeah, by the sounds of it, he does revert to being a child. This comment says, what's their bizarre nap routine? And OP said they cuddle together on the couch and she rubs his temples until he falls asleep. Oh, okay. Yeah, like this comment says, nope, run girl, run. Yeah, run for the hills, OP. Yeah, and also like this comment says, his mum calling you immature is wild, not the a-hole, and be glad you ended it. Yeah, OP's the immature one? When your 30-year-old boyfriend is acting like an 8-year-old? Oh yeah, you're the immature one. Like she's cutting up his food, feeding it to him, and bathing him. And he's also not flushing the toilet. Like, does she wipe for him too? Yeah, like the top comment said, what a bad day to have eyeballs. And moving on to story number 9. This one's a wedding post. Am I the a-hole for telling my best friend the truth about why I skipped their wedding? So here's the deal. My best friend, 30 female, let's call her Anna, recently got married. We've been super close since college, and I, 31 female, was thrilled when she asked me to be her maid of honor. I helped her plan her wedding, threw her a bachelorette party, and even handled some last minute vendor drama. Then came the dress fitting. The bridesmaid dresses Anna picked were not great for my body type. I'm plus size, but I didn't say anything because it was her day. However, during the fitting, Anna made a comment like, well, at least you're in the back for most of the photos. Oh my god, that's terrible. Everybody was laughing, but I felt humiliated. Yeah, Anna's not a friend, OP. Later, I told her privately that her comment hurt my feelings. Instead of apologizing, she said, I didn't mean it like that, but you know the dress wasn't made for curvier girls. I figured that you'd get that. I didn't push it, but I started to feel weird about the whole wedding. Over the next few weeks, she made other small digs about my appearance, like joking about me needing extra fabric for alterations. Oh, she sucks. I decided to step back emotionally, but I didn't want to ruin her day, so I planned to suck it up. The night before the wedding, Anna called me and asked if I could step aside during the bouquet toss because she wanted all the eyes on the bridesmaids, implying that I would stand out in a bad way. That was the final straw for me. I told her I wasn't feeling well and I didn't attend the wedding. When Anna texted me afterwards asking why I really missed the wedding, I told her the truth. Her comments made me feel like she didn't value me as a friend. Oh, she's not a friend, OP. And I couldn't face being there. She blew up saying that I ruined her day and made it all about me and embarrassed her in front of everybody by ghosting her wedding. Our mutual friends are split. Some think I should have gone and dealt with it for one day, while others think Anna crossed a line. Anna undoubtedly crossed a line. Like, that's not up for debate. Anna's a giant a-hole. The stuff that she said to you, OP, was awful. So am I the a-hole for skipping my best friend's wedding and then telling her the real reason why? The top comment says you should have left after the dress fitting. I'm not trying to be mean, but it sounds like she kept you as a friend because she thought she looked better than you when you were together. She's done nothing at this point to prove you are her friend. And any friend who blames you should be blocked and go no contact with. The comment below that says agree 100%. If Anna's what you call a friend, I shudder to think about what you'd consider an enemy. Yeah, Anna's awful. And the stuff that she said to OP is not okay. And the bit where it said our mutual friends are split. Some think that I should have gone and dealt with it for a day, while others think that Anna crossed a line. Like, yeah, she definitely crossed a line. Like, to say the least. She treated you awfully. The second top comment says, not the a-hole. Anna's not your friend and is every bad word that I won't put into this post. She gaslit you for weeks up until the wedding, probably thinking you'd be okay with her abuse, as that was supposed to be part of the maid of honor role. Newsflash, it's not. Yeah, that's a good point. Who does she think she is? How does she feel like she has the right to treat OP like this? You skipped the wedding because number 1, you've got self-respect. Number 2, I believe you also wanted to skip the drama she may have caused. I'm sorry she treated you so abysmally, but in the long run, you're better off not having a friend like that in your life. Yeah, the one below that, not the a-hole. What a... Block and move on. Yeah, the audacity that she even feels like she can treat you like this. Anna is not a friend, OP. Okay, moving on to story 10. I hope this one's a little bit less aggravating. Am I the a-hole for telling somebody to stop mentioning their allergies when we go out to restaurants? I have a family member, 31 female, that says an allergist and claims that they're allergic to nearly everything under the sun, including things that I've seen them eat for years without any issues. The past 2 times that we've gone out to eat, they mentioned their level 5 allergy, and the look of panic that ensues on the waiters' faces gives me secondhand embarrassment. The first time we went out to an Italian restaurant where they made a scene about their level 5 garlic allergy to the waiter, they'd ordered a pizza and claimed that the pizza had never given them problems before, but that they cannot have any garlic. The manager came back and said that all their pizzas have garlic. Yeah, hold on a second. Going to an Italian restaurant and trying to avoid garlic? Are you serious? Just about everything's gonna have garlic in it. My family member then said, oh, that's okay then. Is it a level 5 allergy if you can eat it? They were also perfectly fine and did not complain during or after the meal. The second time we went to a Chinese restaurant, they ordered a seafood soup, and then I have a level 5 allergy to fish. While they're ordering a seafood soup, the waiter looked completely flabbergasted. And then her mum starts complaining that they've had the soup before, but they just don't eat the shrimp. The waiter then explained that the rest of the soup would have made contact with the shrimp, but again, it's fine, I've had it before, I'm just allergic. So why bring it up? I finally said last night that they really need to knock it off. Every time she pipes up with the allergy talk, she orders something that directly contains what she's allergic to. I'm not an allergist, but I'm pretty sure that if you can eat the food without any symptoms or discomfort, you're not allergic. All she does is cause panic for the waiter and turning herself into a liability if she did have an allergy. Am I the a-hole? I nearly started laughing when you said you went to an Italian restaurant and they were trying to avoid garlic. Like, what do you mean? And then to get a seafood soup, but to say that they're allergic to fish. And they even said they take the shrimp out and they eat it and it's completely fine. But like the chef said at the restaurant, the soup was in contact with the shrimp. So yeah, it doesn't really sound like they're allergic at all. It really does sound like an attention-seeking sort of thing. The top comment says, the next time she says, I have an allergy, but I've eaten it before, so it's fine, just loudly insist, no, it's not fine because you could die. And I can't stand the thought of losing you. Really ham it up with the concern. Insist that she order something simple and bland to stay safe. Tell the waiter that under no circumstances is she allowed to have the dish that she wants. Your sister-in-law wants the attention? Give it to her in spades, not the a-hole. The second top comment says, I was about to tell you the a-hole based on the title, but man was I wrong, not the a-hole. There's a thing where people like to pretend to have either a medical or mental health problem just to seek attention from others. They think it makes them interesting. Your cousin sounds exactly like that. Wait, so is it a cousin or a sister-in-law? Let me guess, she's also self-absorbed and doesn't have anything to show personality-wise? Yeah, I feel like it's pretty clearly an attention-seeking sort of thing, and I don't feel like that's rude to say. I feel like that's pretty obvious. The comment below that one says, not the a-hole. Tell her that you've got level 5 allergies against people who pretend to have level 5 allergies. The comment below that one says, not the a-hole. Call that out on behalf of all of those who have to put up with that level of idiocy, and for people who actually have allergies. That's some serious BS. I'm allergic, but I can eat it? What an a-hole. Yeah, and making it a big deal every single time in front of everybody and stopping everybody and also the waiter to be like, I've got a level 5 allergy, just to eat it anyway. And if you Google level 5 allergy, it says an allergy with a very high level of allergen-specific IgE. This indicates a very high likelihood of an allergy. But what, she has a level 5 allergy to all of this stuff, but then eats it anyway and nothing ever happens? Yeah, I can see why you're frustrated, OP. And moving on to story number 11. Another one where somebody keeps eating food that they shouldn't. Am I the gay hoffer asking my coworker to label his food after he kept on eating mine and accidentally making him sick? I, 29 female, work in an office where we have a shared kitchen and I bring my lunch from home every day. For the past few months, I noticed that my food would randomly go missing. At first, I thought maybe I forgot to pack it or I left it at home, but eventually I realized somebody was eating it. After a little bit of observation, I started to suspect one coworker. Let's call him D, mid-30s. He's always in the kitchen around the time that my lunch disappears, and I have seen him casually snack on things that don't look like something that he'd bring. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, so I brought it up generally in the office. I said something like, hey, somebody's been eating my lunch. Can we please be respectful and not take other people's food? Everybody nodded along, but D didn't say a word, and despite this, my food kept on disappearing. I tried labeling it with my name and I even hid it in the back of the fridge. It still went missing. I was beyond frustrated. This week, I decided to bring in something I knew that D wouldn't like. I made a spicy pasta dish with extra chili. I love spicy food, but I know it's not for everybody. I also labeled it clearly very spicy, so there'd be no confusion. Well, guess what? My lunch disappeared again. A few hours later, D started complaining about his stomach and how he wasn't feeling well. He had to leave work early. Later, I found out from another coworker that D admitted that he took my lunch, thinking that I was exaggerating about how spicy it was. Now a few coworkers are saying that I went too far by bringing in something intentionally dangerous, but I never forced anybody to take my food. He knew it wasn't his and took it anyway. I feel bad that he got sick, but he shouldn't have been stealing my lunch in the first place. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for asking D to label his food after repeatedly stealing mine and for bringing in a spicy dish that made him sick? Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole, but you should notify HR about this. And for those coworkers, tell them to feel free to feed D after this. Your food, not their problem. If they want to support thieves, go on, but not you. The second top comment says, adding extra spice to your food isn't dangerous. That's a bit far. You were even nice enough to label it extra spicy. Your coworker got what was coming to him for eating other people's lunches. Now, if I knew it was him, I'd probably tell management too, because it's not fair that you have to miss lunch every day because he isn't organized enough to bring his own. I'd bring extra spicy food every every day for the next few weeks so that he doesn't touch my food. And that if he does, he has stomach pain. You didn't go too far. It was your lunch, not his. He made himself sick, not the a-hole. And OP even said, I love spicy food. So it's not like it was so spicy that even OP couldn't eat it. And moving on to story number 12. This one looks very interesting. Am I the a-hole for calling off my wedding after discovering my fiance has a secret child? I've been with my fiance Heisenberg. He's a Breaking Bad fan for 5 years, and we've spent the whole of 2024 planning our wedding. Things were perfect, or so I thought. After the new year, while helping him clean out his office, I stumbled upon a stack of old letters addressed to him. I was so curious, so I opened one up, and I discovered they were from a woman claiming that he was the father of her 7-year-old son. At first, I thought it must have been a mistake. When I confronted him, though, he admitted everything, that he'd had a brief relationship with this woman before we met, and the child is his. He confessed that he's known about his son for years, but chose not to tell me because he didn't want to complicate our relationship. He also claimed that he occasionally provides financial support, but has no active involvement in the child's life. Not only did he keep such a massive secret, but his lack of involvement in his child's life made me question his character. I couldn't stop imagining what else he might be hiding. Despite loving him deeply, I've decided to call off the wedding. I feel betrayed, and I can't imagine building a life with somebody who would keep something so significant from me. He's begging me to reconsider, saying that he's ready to be open about everything and involve his child in our life. Still, I can't shake the feeling that trust is broken beyond repair. Am I the a-hole for calling off the wedding, or should I give him another chance? The top comment says, not the a-hole. Why would you want to marry a man who chooses to be inactive in his child's life? And OP said, and he admitted that he left the mother of her child when she was pregnant. The second top comment says, not the a-hole. Your fiance's been lying to you every day during your entire relationship. Not to mention, he's a deadbeat. Be glad to rid yourself of such trash. And the comment below that one says, this is a big and life-altering secret. What if the woman goes after him for full support? Your life will be impacted too, especially if he's still sending her money. He needs to realize this is no small thing. I would do the same if I were you. Yeah, that's not a small secret. Yeah, of course you feel the way that you do, OP. And moving on to story 13. This one's a bit of a shorter one. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents that I won't pay for their retirement after they paid for my brother's wedding? I, 29 male, have always been responsible with money, while my brother, 32 male, has not. A few years ago, he got married and my parents spent nearly all of their savings paying for his extravagant wedding. Now they're nearing their retirement and they've asked me to help support them financially because they don't have enough saved. I told them that I wasn't willing to help because they chose to prioritize my brother's wedding over their future. They argued that I don't understand because I'm single and I don't have major expenses like a family. I told them their choices aren't my responsibility and they called me selfish. My brother thinks I'm being cruel and saying that I'm punishing our parents for favoring him. I feel bad for saying no, but I also don't think it's fair for me to bear the burden of their bad financial decisions. Am I the a-hole? The top comment says, not the a-hole. Their poor financial decisions are not your problem or responsibility. Why aren't they asking your brother to pay? He's the reason why they don't have their retirement. They funded your brother's wedding thinking that you would take care of them. Wrong. Don't be guilted or bullied into picking up the slack in their retirement. Yeah, and like the second top comment says, not the a-hole. Your brother should be stepping up, not you. Yeah, but you're selfish, not your brother. This comment says, not the a-hole. Oh, your family says that you're punishing them for favoring your brother. Yeah, because how does rewarding them for favoring your brother make any sense? And this comment too, not the a-hole. Your brother can help them out. Tell your parents that you need your savings for your own wedding someday. Yeah, I bet they weren't planning to pay for your wedding. And that's a good place to end the episode, I feel like. I've got a really good wholesome meme to show you. Helping one person might not change the world, but it could change the world for that one person. How beautiful is that? And it's so true. And I feel like that's such a good thing to remember too. Like, yeah, it might not seem like you're helping a lot, but you are though. Very beautiful and a good place to end the episode. Thank you for watching today's episode, everybody. I hope you had a great time today. And if you did, make sure you subscribe if you want to. And also let me know in the comments what you thought. And the comment of the day goes to Shazy Casey. These stories are freaking wild. Thank God for your cats in between each wild story being the perfect palate cleanser. Precious baby buns. Yeah, the stories are wild, aren't they? I guess I'm a little bit used to it because I read them so much. But yeah, they really are wild. And yeah, you're so right, Shazy Casey. The cats really do help. I love having the cats in the videos. Okay, I'm out of here. Make sure you look after yourself, everybody, and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!